This is the trigger warning for our show. Please understand that various monsters had various victims and hunted in various ways depending on the folklore, mythology, or stories that were told about them. Please understand that it is not our intent to upset you. You will be given other warnings and additional warnings depending on the episode, but this is our blanket statement. We didn't write the myths, but we are using them to tell our story. Also, this is the content warning for our show. There will be cursing. There will be some interesting ideas. We will take it in where we can, but be warned, there was beer involved.
What if I told you there is a world where not only are monsters like vampires and werewolves real, but they have rights, just like you and me. And in this world, there exists a secret government organization dedicated to keeping you safe and making sure they follow the rules. Welcome to Anarium, a Monster of the Week podcast.
Hey everybody, it's me, Cameron. I play Bernard on this show, and just wanted to start this episode off, this finale to our short little mini arc here. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope this is something that you'd like to see some more of in the future. If it is, please let us know. I really had a good time, just kind of me and Rob vibing, and I wouldn't mind doing some more stuff like this with just two people. Maybe it's Rob and Taylor, or maybe Sam gets to play a character and I get to be the DM, and him and Rob can play with Taylor. I don't know. Just kind of mixing things up a little bit was really fun, and I hope it was fun for you guys. So that's why I keep saying that every episode multiple times. So yeah, just let us know what you think of this little arc and if you would like to hear more stuff like this. But let's go ahead and listen in and find out how this arc concludes.
Well, hello there. It's me, it's Sam, your keeper, your GM, your monster. No, not monster lord. Don't like that. Don't like that. Okay. Welcome to my world. It is Anarium. It was built with me, friends, and family, who someday you all might get to meet as guests. We built it together using Michael Sand's Monster of the Week to bring it to life, powered by the Apocalypse, which is a system. I realize I've said that a few times and never explained it. The Apocalypse system is what he used to create this. Michael Sand's great dude, lots of resources online. I always recommend people play it. It's great for beginners. This is my world that I built with loved ones, and these are my friends who get to play in my world. Here they are.
Yes, I am Cameron. I play Bernard, and I love the play in Sam's sandbox. It's
It's
great.
good. It's a nice little sandbox. It's not like the best. It's one of those old turtle ones.
I'm Rob. Cameron left me nothing to pick apart that time. I love Sam's sandbox. He built the city. If you guys can hear me echoing it in the halls, let's get started.
Yeah, let's go.
God damn it, Taylor. Shut up. We know your character. God.
I swear,
Again,
this dude,
This
he
dude
develops
just never
just
stops.
a diva complex
I think
quicker than I thought
you've just
was
developed
possible.
your character so much you might as well retire him, Taylor. I'm sorry. It's
it's-
just you just won't stop interrupting to make your character center stage. We do miss him. We do.
We
He
do.
got life. I believe he has something going on right now, sickness wise.
Yep.
Not COVID, but he's struggling a bit. So our hearts do go out to him when he listens to this. Hopefully, it brings a smile to his face that he was missed.
And for those curious at home, not a genital rash. We checked.
Yeah.
Okay, Rob checked from Denver. I assume there was a Skype call. I was not involved in that, though I do have enough medical training to go, that's fucked up. Go to a hospital, please. All right, so where we left off, we had a less than positive interaction with Sharon in the confines of the Immaculate Dead Cemetery. She left rather angrily. She doesn't like how she was spoken to. Unfortunately, you guys rolled garbage on all of your charm rolls to try to at least get in the door here.
Yeah, and for me, it's all like my charm is -2, so it's always tough. But then you rolled that bad, and it's just like
Yeah, it's a 3 -2. Shit, am I in the negatives now?
yeah.
Do we have fucking Ozzy over here running around? Sean, John.
So Rob got some character development, some new avenues and pathways to kind of follow with who Orpheus is, who he was. So we are going to pick up. I believe Bernard was just about to make a phone call to Emily back at base to let her know how things were developing, and that is where we are going to pick up.
So Bernard is we're walking out.
Mm-hmm.
But then Bernard stops.
Ooh, no phone call. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and I think he's like, you know what? When did I start calling her, asking her what to do all the time? We're going to handle this on our own. And he turns back around. And he is going to stomp on that until someone comes back.
Just nonstop.
You're going to have a few visitors very concerned with why you're stomping on this floor. Like just random mourners here to say, their piece to their loved ones. Kind of looking at you like you're a fucking crazy man. But eventually, little lid pops, closes, pops all the way up. Little voice pops in.
We see that you're still here. What do you guys want? I thought we were done. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I thought so too, and I was going to call the big bosses and have them come up with some diplomatic solution, but then I thought, fuck that. Here's what I propose to you. We have two tribes, two families that both want food. They both want the right to food. And I happen to work for a place I can guarantee you food. Here's what I'm prepared to offer. We have some programs. We can get you whether some fresh meat, some particularly rancid pieces, and we'll let you get first dibs. Either way this goes. But what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go talk to Lothos. And I'm going to come back with his strongest fighter. And I would like you to provide us with your strongest fighter. Non-fatal. Whoever can say knockout or pin, I'll leave that up to you guys. The other one. If they win, they're going to move in over here, or at least have a tunnel to where they have access to your cemetery. You're going to share their food. You're going to expand your families. Be more powerful in this area. If they lose, they're our problem. We provide them with scraps, and like I said, you'll still get first dibs on those. They'll get whatever you don't take. See what Sharon has to say about that.
All right. Drake turns around. He begins to talk to her. It is rather long. I mean, you've given a lot of information. She barks, growls, yips to kind of clarify certain things. And then Drake turns back around and he's...
So it's their warrior versus our warrior. And then, if we win, we get choice bits and left alone. And if they win, we get bigger, we tunnel, we meet. They help us with our family and building, and we still get choice bits. And they just get to move in, more or less, as like a guest.
Yeah, essentially. Like I said, I realize just moving in is probably something they wouldn't want to do either, but just giving them access to food. And no, I can promise you that him and his family, they're not going to take for the sake of taking. They will take what they need and no more.
Okay. Drake turns around. He continues to convey that clarification. He turns around and he's like,
all right, tonight at midnight, in our cemetery, she is amiable to this arrangement. as we kind of win no matter what.
I thought you'd like that. All right. We'll see you at midnight.
All right, they close that down. She is more contemplative. Like, this is not the angry slamming
Yeah.
of marble. Fuck you guys, get away. It is, all right, so we kind of win no matter what.
Yeah. And that was, again, sorry if we were kind of talking off here about some of our choices, and I was like, I think I got it. I just want to go do it. Hope that was okay. But I kind of wanted to come up with just a way for them, like, you win. No matter what it is, I get it. You know, we're, like, there's no way for us to come at this and ask you to give something up without getting something. So we need to come up with something so that they win no matter what. So now we just got to go back to Lothos and hope that he will acquiesce and think that this is a good idea.
Yeah. You guys get back in your car. There is a bit of a drive, again, about 30 minutes away. I mean, far enough. Is there anything you want to discuss? There's a lot that's happened since the last time it was just the two of you in a confined space. Do you want to discuss anything, say anything? What's on your minds as you're doing this? There's a lot.
For me, as we're in the car, like I said, I'm not going to pry. I asked a question or two, and I got what I got. It's not even bothering me at this point. If there's something he needs to tell me, he'll tell me. So I think he's just like, look, sorry if it felt like I kind of cut you out back there. Sometimes I get a little frustrated if I feel challenged and I want to take care of stuff myself. That's why I typically don't work with partners.
I take no qualm. I take no qualm with what you did. You were tasked to lead, and you are.
Appreciate
I asked
it.
one question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the great champion? Or will it be one of us?
I gotta be honest. I don't know who it's gonna be. You know, it's not like I check in, but I wouldn't be surprised if, with them being a little bit of an older family, if who they have isn't fairly impressive. But also, they haven't been eating that well either. So, if it's gotta be you or me, it's gotta be you or me.
We will find out soon enough.
That we will. So, I think we can play us out. Got the music going.
Moving along. Are you going to call anybody about it? I mean, you are transporting a ghoul in your vehicle. I mean, at this point, you're asking for forgiveness, not permission, but at least
Yeah.
keeping it in.
No, I don't think I am.
Okay.
Because I think this is because that's, again, we've talked about, that is what Bernard is, like, typically what he does. He just gets stuff done, and I think in this particular case, like, maybe there'd be some pushback, but it wouldn't be like, this isn't one of those fireable offenses, I don't think,
No, not at all.
unless something went horribly awry and we have like a full-on
Unless their
If
ghoul
you
goes
commit
full
genocide,
Hulk
we're
and
gonna
just
have a
murders
problem.
everyone there.
Yeah, then we're gonna have an issue. But I think we're
I
all.
can tell you as your GM that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
but
it seemed like everybody was coming from a place of like good faith.
yeah.
So I think-
mean, you found a solution I didn't see.
Yeah. I think it'll be. I think we'll be good. And I think if I call and I've got this settled, I think they'll be happy with that. So I'm not going to bother them. And like we said, I think the more I thought about it, like, man, like, this doesn't feel like calling and asking permission and checking in on missions. Like, no, fuck that. That's just
No, I liked it. Like, because you looked at me and you were like, I got a plan. I don't want to talk about it. I just want to do it. And I was like, I trust you as a player. You've
Yeah.
never done anything to make me think it's going to be bad. Let's do this. And you set it up so well that I wasn't going to make you roll charisma to manipulate someone, because it legitimately was just,
It was sincere. Yeah.
no, this works for them. There's no reason why
Yeah.
it would matter if they like you or not. It's just a plan.
all right. So we get there. I think we're gonna just walk up and knock. I don't know what time it would be. I'm guessing, all this started around noon, so it's probably
2 or 3 in the afternoon, because
Yeah.
you started a little before noon. Like, your first phone call was at like 9.
yeah.
You got there, took time to get there, bounced back and forth a little bit. So you're like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and knock on the crypt or whatever it was that we wanted to call it, mausoleum.
Okay. Traditional. Wait a few minutes. The lid pops a bit, peeks, opens up. You are standing in front of Lothos again. He looks at you. Food.
We think we found you a solution, a plan. But one of you is gonna have to fight for it. You think that's something you can handle?
Roll me charisma. This is more on how he's going to interpret what you just said
Okay,
than
yeah.
if it's going to succeed or not.
I was trying to like, how wordy am I gonna get? So I was like, I think
Yeah.
he would know the word like fight, and I think he would know. So we'll see. Well, it's an 8, but be -2, so it's a 6.
Orpheus, do you want to chime in and help your friend? And make that a 7?
Yeah.
Say it first, then roll, because that can change how I take it. Because a failure doesn't always mean failure. It depends on how you're saying it. It can completely change how I interpret and run with it, even if it's a 6.
A better description for what he is saying is anything worth having is worth striving for. And striving does require effort. That's term?
Yeah. Just get some
I give him a
experience.
+6.
You rolled a 6.
I rolled a 6.
He looks at you. Looks at both of you, clearly confused by some of the words Orpheus is trying to use, Bud. You are using old-timey language on a man who barely speaks English. He understands you're coming from a good place, and then he kind of, like, ducks his head a few times, and he's like, Death?
Death is not a possibility.
He does the head nod. He understands kind of where you're coming from, and then he looks at you, Bernard, dead in the eye. Why? Why you help?
Well,
Mind you, we've already established he knows your reputation.
yeah.
You are a monster hunter. You are a killer. And he is asking you why you're going out of your way to help.
I think he's he probably looks away and he's thinking, because I think Bernard is having a bit of a, he's changing some, and I think he's recognizing that too. And I think he's like, well, I'm not going to lie to you, Lothos. I've been doing this a long time, and I'd be lying if I told you I haven't killed my fair share of what most people would call monsters. Even some people, some things you might have considered kin. I did that because I thought that was the only way to protect people. But I think seeing you and your non-desire to kill humans even though food was scarce, if my job is to protect people, then making sure that you are taken care of protects people. So that's what I'm going to do.
We fight. Time, place.
Midnight. At the confines of the Immaculate Dead. You pick your biggest fighter. Best fighter. Doesn't have to be the biggest. Some of them pretty small. Still fight pretty well. Whoever you think has the best chance of either pinning or knocking out their champion.
We'll be ready for meeting.
All right. We'll be there too. And like I said, they're a little defensive, but I don't think they want to kill anybody. They just want to know that what's theirs will stay theirs, but they as long as we help them, they're fine to help you, and that's what we're going to do.
Okay. Now, rather than fill in the next few hours, unless there's something either one of you really wants to talk about, we're going to jump forward.
Okay.
You would go back to Narium. You'd get a panel van to make sure you can transport this ghoul quietly, safely. You go back to St. Michael's. You pick up both Lothos and a very large ghoul. Probably twice the size of Lothos. More in line with maybe the size of what Sharon was, much bigger. And you would notice that it is a female ghoul who is their more, we'll say, weighty, prepared fighter. Taking more from, in my honest to God mind, of hyenas, where the females are often the alphas, and they are the ones who rule that roost. They climb in, and you make your drive. Lothos is quiet. He understands that there's a lot riding on this, but it's like there's some yips and some like friendly snarls and growls, like when you've got a dog that just likes to growl.
Yeah.
And it's not always meant to be like back off or be mean. Like it is a conversation. I mean, it's not Rocky in the back, like go out and get him, Rock. It's your only chance.
Yeah. I think he just kind of looks in the back and kind of adjusts his mirror, and he's like, I fucking love this job, man.
So you get there. You get to the confines of the Immaculate Dead. A ghoul opens the gate for you. It has been closed and locked. It is midnight, pitch black out. Opens the gate, kind of waves you in. You go to an area. It's actually a gazebo. That, like, I know we have some in our cemeteries, but it's actually a place to just sit, kind of reflect amongst the trees and whatnot. There are maybe 10 to 12 ghouls here. We see a handful of adults, handful of pups, kids, little ones. And you see Sharon standing in the middle of that gazebo, pom-pom off the top of her head. She's legitimate, like she's stretching. She understands that this is a fight to come. Lothos, as you're kind of driving to that region, does finally kind of lean forward and so few. Not many.
Yeah. We talked with this little plant guy they got, Drake, and he told us that their numbers are relatively few, especially in consideration with your family. And that's partially why they weren't, I suppose I should tell you, they were not willing to work with us at first. They're not doing this to help you. They're doing this because they're getting something in return. But they will give you the opportunity. But I don't think it's out of a place of hate. I think it's out of obligation to their own family, which I think you could understand.
And almost to himself, as he turns away, you just hear him say, build and grow. And he goes back to the other ghoul in the back of the van, and you guys pull up to that gazebo location, and everybody kind of gets out when the female from St. But
Before we get out,
yeah, what you got?
to the champion ghoul.
I will tell you her name is Michelle. She was
Michelle.
actually named after the cemetery they're in, St. Michael, Michelle.
Michelle? Yeah.
They took a feminized version of it. She is listening. She's friendly. She's much like Lothos. She doesn't speak English, but she can understand it. They're more inclined to that. But you do have her name. It is Michelle.
Michelle, I would like to offer a sacrifice to your benefit. I want to wish you well, and I want to cast incantations so that you may succeed here today. I will not be unfair and I will not cheat, but I want to give to you what I can so that your success may be clear today. and again, maybe grow some more tobacco leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of send that over, swarm her body, kind of, the branches just tracing her
Mm-hmm.
of that. Light them up, share with her some of my techniques, how I defended my swamp.
Mm-hmm.
Just do anything I can to hype her, to prepare her, to bless her, to pray over her.
Which raises a
Get
question.
some of that bourbon and pour it out to protect.
But that's the vein of the question. You have boom juice, which can increase fighting stats. Do you cheat and give Michelle some of your oomph in this liquor, which is probably a little more than liquor,
Yeah.
that you're not afraid to give yourself an edge when you need it? Whereas Orpheus has taken a let's be fair and make this legit. Does Bernard go, fuck it, if you're not willing to cheat to win, do you really want to win?
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That says Bill Belichick.
Honestly, no, I don't think he would. I think he would. I think Bernard would see. He would want this to be fair, and he would want there to be integrity. He does not want to
All right, I like that.
steal.
I wasn't
from-
certain. I
Yeah.
thought if I gave you the option, you'd go one way or the other, and I was like, did not know what
Yeah.
you would pick.
Like, because
Maybe in that moment, Orpheus is going to look over to Bernard. Bernard, while I want this to be fair, I must ask you, what is the greater good here? I want him to question his conscience. If even Orpheus is, what is the greater good? I really want Bernard to wrestle with this hard. Even Orpheus opens up to the idea that
Maybe we need to
Maybe.
cheat.
maybe.
I mean, there's a sanctity to this.
Yeah.
Like, you brokered this deal.
Yeah.
Your character was the front runner. They were the person that made it. Now, the question, and I love the fact that Orpheus posed it that way, is it, in your mind, is it greater good enough to cheat? Even if it is, there's a sanctity to this. This is something I set up. My name's on this. Do I give them that edge? Now, having a player ask you that, what do you think you'd do?
I think he'll reflect on that for a second, but I think he's like, I made this deal for them in good faith, and I believe it was accepted in good faith. And this is a new relationship that we're starting, both for Anarium and for Lothos. And like I told him, it doesn't bother me to kill monsters. In fact, I enjoy it. But my job, my role, truly, is to keep the peace. If I broker a deal in poor faith, I'm not keeping peace. It could blow back on Anarium. It could blow back with these ghouls, maybe even farther than just these two. I think we need to do this fair, and keep in mind that no matter what, Lothos and his family will be taken care of. It just might not be in the best way, growing and bringing another family along with him, and also them operating in good faith. I know I can trust them, but I think lying in any capacity in this situation would be harmful, even if we succeed.
Bernard, you are still full of surprises. I have not known you long, but I have much respect for your beliefs here. If you believe that they are on par as we, then forward we shall go.
Don't get me wrong, I'm all for a fair fight. But the second they look like they aren't fighting fair, you and I know what to do. And I think that's all he says, and I think
Well,
he's
upset.
stepping
All
out of the
so
table.
in a rare
Open the
moment
doors.
where the keeper traditionally does not roll dice, I'm going to roll to see how this actually plays out.
Yeah, I was curious how we were going to do this. Because at first I was like, I think I'm going to fight it. But then I was like, if we're really staying true to what this is, in a straight up hand-to-hand, a ghoul would thrash me.
Yep.
Like, it wouldn't even be a competition. So, yeah, I like this.
All right, I am rolling for Michelle. She is our champion at this moment. We have nothing against the other group. You will find it odd that Sharon is actually their fighter.
It seemed that's the way it was going. So, yeah, I'm a little surprised. Not shocked by the way that she kind of acted. She seemed pretty assertive. I'm not surprised at all.
She's the one in charge.
Yeah.
And they're
There's
a small
reason.
clan.
And
Yeah.
they are a very small clan. So we'll make our roll, and we'll see how it goes. Our friend Michelle, given the roll that I got, she wins without having to try that hard.
Oh, shit.
She rolled a 10. And
Nice.
that's not any additives, base number. She could have lost at a 6. They would have lost. You would have went home. Mid-range is Michelle wins, but it's tight. It's close. There is some question as to fronting and ability, and okay, well, fine. They won, but barely. So she full heavy-handed wins. Like, no question, no doubt. 1 or 2 punches. Claws don't come out. Bloodshed isn't even that big. Like, we're not looking at... Oh, this
Nobody
was-
even got a bust lip. Okay.
Yeah, like this was not a knockdown, drag out fight. This was she stepped up and she put shit down and it was over. 2 hits. I hit you, you hit the floor. She won flat. Which, given the situation that we're in and how we view things, is this shows the other clan that, okay, well, maybe it's not bad to have someone that strong. Like, this shows me I don't need to revisit these ghouls in a future game where maybe they're like, no, hey, you should totally come in and become part of us, and we can totally share some things with you. You can show us how to be because you're starving and you still won.
Right.
That, I mean, so it's kind of, I like the fact that it turned out that way, but if I had rolled a 3, now Michelle got her ass kicked. And,
And like I
you're
said,
going
maybe
home.
it seems weird to, like, especially for Bernard, like, playing, kind of on the side of these monsters. But like I said, they are playing by the rules, and they even went so far as to not harm humans.
If you had given her boom juice and she had rolled that 10, she would have killed Sharon.
That
There
was
were negatives there
that
that I
was
had
a-
in place where it was, it's something that
that was a
it's
fear
not
I
used to.
had. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to juice this chick up.
Like I had that
Separate her head
plan
and
where I was
cleave
like, no, we can make that happen. But if you juice her and she's going in there with more than she's
Yeah.
ever had, she's gonna kill this other ghoul and not even realize it.
Or if like maybe like a year or 2 on down the road in story, like they find out that had
that
happened,
there was something happened, there
and
was
now
cheating.
like it's so. I just felt like it
Calls
was
the Civil War.
There were avenues. When I first thought was like, okay, I either roll a 10 honest and they win, or eventually we can come back and revisit it where it's something else has happened. But
So-
this is literally the best outcome at random, and it kind of
Yeah.
makes me smile just
Yeah.
because it is the best outcome
I'm
at
happy
random.
too, like because like I said, Lothos and them, they seem like they are operating in the way that we want monsters or whatever you want to call them to operate. Is it a gross thing? Sure, yes. They are surviving and,
Barbaric but fair,
yeah,
right?
they're doing what and now they're bringing in because we don't know that about Sharon. If their food source had been lost, maybe they would have been attacking. Maybe people coming to visit would have went missing. We don't know that. So bringing them into the fold and making them trust a little more, I think, was a good option. I'm glad it worked out that way.
Yeah.
Before this combat clears, can I have a moment with Sharon?
After the fight,
Yeah, after the fight, but before we disperse.
okay, before everybody kind of goes home and the
Yeah.
tunnel starts to get dug. Yeah, what you got?
Yeah, I want to approach a Sharon who's getting back to her feet. Sharon, I apologize. I was at a loss for words before. The bigger picture I meant was not to be offensive to you and yours, but to show that there is much more that each can offer each other. I hope that today's trial appeases you, and we can build
trust and better communication moving forward.
Her response is to look at you, tilts her head, and then kind of starts to nod. She understands that you are saying something. Drake isn't like close enough to really convey what you've just said to her, but your tone and how you phrase that, she is understanding that it's like, no, there's more here than just food that we can take.
Yeah, it wasn't like that's right, bitch.
That's right, bitch.
Pony
You
up.
lost. Give us food. I assume you go back, you write your report.
Yep.
Is there anything you guys would like to do before you close out the game character-wise? Now, before we do that, I do want to explain, because, again, it's world building. More or less, they would have employed the ghouls to either go into areas where there was some form of destruction and whether it be, go ahead and find the dead animals, clear them, put things out of their misery that are suffering because they're burned, whether it be forest fires or a human building collapses and it's, we want to give closure to families. We're going to send ghouls in to find your loved ones who've passed. I mean, they can find a dead body through 12 feet of solid dirt in a coffin. They can find someone who has unfortunately passed in a building that has collapsed.
Yeah.
We can give closure. It's not pretty, it's not open coffins, but it gives open casket funerals. Pardon me, not open coffins. It is giving ghouls food while still respecting the humans who've passed. And it's now you know, your family knows. It's no longer a question, you were found. Yeah. And then they get to keep what they have found, and how Anarium tries to use monsters and inherently what they are to benefit themselves while not breaking their customs and traditions of This is what you eat. From, we can also make use of this in another way. Had the fight failed, I mean, their entire, we'll say, clan or group at St. Michael's, I mean, that kind of uproots it. You're constantly sending ghouls to different locations to do that, and so it kind of disrupts it. It's not the natural order of things. But that is the option. And we can also go to them still. As you said, the deal was, we're still going to help you bring extra food and don't worry about starving.
Yeah.
So, it shows Anarium's attempt to maintain culture and ways while still using horrible monsters, I say with quotes, to better the world we live in. Is there anything you guys want to touch on?
I think whether Orpheus can be there too, whether it's a phone call or if we're back at the office, if we could arrange a meeting with Emily, I'd like to go over.
No, sure. Yeah.
With her.
Her door's always open.
Okay. So I think if Orpheus would, actually, I guess that's what we can do. I will in character go up to him and talk to him.
Good.
Is he down in his...
Orpheus, where do you think you'd be? It's been a weird day.
It's been a very weird day. I was just thinking about how I want to unpack some of that. Probably doing some meditation and the field. I assume I would sense Bernard approaching me.
Okay.
I can give you that.
And without even really breaking meditation, I would say to Bernard, I need to understand what I saw today. I need answers to the questions that came to me. I don't know where to begin, but I hope when we meet with Marcellus, the two of you can help me.
Would that be questions about your grave-digging friend or anything that took place with Lothoth?
I understand Lothos. His plight is not new, but mine is.
Well, as you said, Marcellus might be able to explain some of that better than me. But I came down to talk to you about something else. I'm unfortunately still dealing with some of the
fine print on that whole Lothos situation, so I was heading up to see Emily. You're more than welcome to stay here, or you can come with me if you'd like.
I do not suspect there is any more for me here today. It is probably best that I follow suit.
I'll go with him.
All right. Guys, pop in your elevator, you head up. Her office door is open. She's sitting at her desk. She's writing something. One of the numerous paperwork she has to check and verify in triplicate, quadruplicate, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, I think he walks in, he's like, honey, we're home. Kind of.
You know, frequently people bring it to my attention that such brash character would be acceptable and you would look forward to it and it would be humorous, and yet I find myself wanting you to be quiet and getting to your point. What do you want, Bernard? I'm busy, but the door is open. Clearly something's on her mind. She's working on something, but she is open to speaking with you.
Well, I only stopped in because I imagine you heard most of the events today.
I mean, not from you, or as frequently as I might have liked, but a piece of paper with a brief description with grammatical issues and misspellings. But yes, I am very well aware of how you helped the ghouls at St. Michael's by combining them with the ghouls at the confines of the Immaculate Death.
Yeah, and in my opinion, I think that was best for both of those families, and I think it was in our best interest as well to have the younger clan join one that works well with us. I'm only here because I wanted to make sure that I tell you about some of the finer points of the deal that I arranged, and that is Sharon and the ghouls at the confines of the Immaculate Dead. They were told that they would get in this program that I know we use ghouls for, cleanup crews and the like, that they would get first dibs. And I don't want that to cause issues within either one of the clans. So if I have to revisit it later, I will. I just want to let you know that I'll take responsibility for that. I think that they will work well together, and I think eventually Sharon will consider some of them her family, and there will be no first dibs. They will be one family. But I wanted to make sure that if there is any blowback, it should come squarely to me, and I'll handle it.
Orpheus, do you have an opinion on today's adventure that you feel the need to bestow upon me as well?
Today's adventure went as well as it could. Lives were saved. Bonds were forged. I do think Bernard was exceptional in his leadership. And when given the opportunity to show his colors, he did. Those colors
I think he
shone
looks
bright.
at her and he's like, exceptional. Kind of whisper again.
Exceptional. She takes off her glasses, eyes closed, kind of pinches her nose, rubs her eyes a bit, puts her glasses back on. It was in no way meant to be a threat. I need you to understand, Bernard, that when I send you into a field, it is traditionally to make sure that you are the only thing that comes out of it. I need you to know that I have always considered you one of my best agents as far as pulling a trigger and making a hard choice to end a life. I need you to know that you handled this today in a way that yesterday I would have said you were not capable of. I need you to be aware that you are an old dog and this was a new trick. You have looked at this from every angle. You took in mind that the St. Michael's ghouls were completely on board with an Arium understanding. You brought in a new one. You created a larger family, which in another setting may have been a problem, but because of how you handled it and how you set it up, there's a very strong likelihood that now we'll just have two ghoul communities that are perfectly willing to work with us, which can be more than helpful in some of the programs we have set up. You surprised me today, Bernard. And I don't know if it's our new tree friend rubbing off on you. I don't know if it's not having Marcellus there to try to one-up and attempt to hurt something more. But I need you to know that I'm impressed. You did a good job today. And not in any way you've ever done before. Not as a slight. You've given me hope for what we're really here for. The end goal of openness and living in a world where we're welcome. And I need you to know that I appreciate this new trick you've learned. However, I don't want to hear any of your horrifying flirtations. So unless the words you're about to say are, yes, ma'am, and leaving, I can take everything I said back with one word. But, because nothing said before the word but really counts.
Yeah. I think he just kind of smiles and he turns to go to the door. He's like, yes, ma'am. Just don't give me too much credit. He kind of gestures with his hand like it hurts, like arthritis in my trigger finger was acting up today. Didn't really have it in me. And he just kind of walks out. I think he's aware that he's changing, but also I think, don't really want to talk about
change,
it.
The more they stay the same.
Yeah, don't want to talk about it too much.
That's fair.
And that is your Narium game today. I know I've harped on this a couple times, and as kind of understand how this is going to drop as far as schedule goes. If you guys could like and subscribe, Twitter comment if we are a 3-star podcast with some rough edges, but you're curious to see where it goes. Put that in your comment. Let the world know. Be like, hey, I found some guys. They're doing something interesting. It's not quite like some of the other Monster of the Week podcasts out there. It's a little bit more sitting at their table and having fun with them. Things are a little different, but it's still good. I appreciate it. Personally, I know Cameron's going to give you guys an email address if you want to reach out.
Yeah.
Give us some ideas.
I will put that in the bio and everything. And I'd like you guys to send us some feedback on this particularly. Did you find this little side quest interesting? And this was obviously a bit of a different drop too. We're going to give you more than one at once. Is that something that you enjoy? Did you kind of like getting a little bit to see more of the characters and not necessarily just guns blazing all the time? That's the kind of feedback that would be the most helpful, because we're going to have fun kind of no matter what we do, but we want this to be fun for you too. So be sure if you guys could give us an email. I'm going to sign off. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
We appreciate you joining us. Have a good evening and stay safe out in the world.
Well, you heard the guys. That's it for this arc. So thank you all very much for tuning into this episode of Anarium. Coming up soon, we have Taylor back in the cast and a surprise guest for you. So stay tuned for the next arc, although, sorry, we won't be dropping it all in one like we are with this. And I really hope you guys enjoy the way we're doing this. I hope it's something fun that you can kind of dig your teeth into and just get listen to the whole thing. Or maybe it's going to take you over the course of a couple days, but over the course of the next couple weeks, you have several episodes of your favorite podcast, wink, wink, to listen to. So again, like we normally do, just follow us on the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, whatever it is. And please leave us a review. We really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you later.